Welcome to Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan. We're here at the beginning of April and we're quite fortunate because the cherry blossom season is late this year, which happens to coincide with when we're visiting. So today we're going to show you the best of the city during the spring. Just behind me is the Sky Tree. This is one of the highest viewing platforms here in Tokyo. Unfortunately, it's a bit cloudy today, so we won't be going up because I guess we won't have a good view of below. But we're also right now in the Sumida Park, which spans both sides of the Sumida River in the center of Tokyo. This is one of the best places to see cherry blossoms in sakura season, which is right now. There's a festival taking place and everyone's having picnics under the cherry blossom trees. It's simply stunning. In Japanese, they have the word hanami, which quite literally means cherry blossom viewing, or more specifically flower viewing, but is usually used for cherry blossoms. During this time, everyone celebrates the impermanence of the beauty of the flowers, and it's really common to have picnics under the cherry blossoms, go for strolls in the park, and enjoy all of the festivals taking place. We're still within the confines of the park, but now we're going to go into the Ushijima Shrine. Now, this Shinto shrine is unique in that rather than having a messenger from the god in the form of an fox, it's in the form of an ox. And it goes that if you touch the ox, then you'll be cured from whatever is ailing you. The other unique aspect of this shrine is that it's home to a Mitsu torii gate, which is a wooden torii gate. When visiting any shrine, do note that it's not seen as right to take photos of the interior of the shrine, so avoid doing that. Anyway, as much as I'd love to stay in the park for a little while longer, it's really, truly stunning. We'll go the other side of the river to see even more cherry blossom trees. If you're not able to make it to Tokyo or Japan to see the traditional cherry blossom trees, which tend to bloom around the end of March to the beginning of April, then another great alternative is to check out all of the weeping cherry trees. As you can see, it's not in full bloom yet because the full bloom is a few weeks after the traditional cherry blossoms. When you're crossing from one side of Sumida Park to the other, do make sure to stop at the banks of the river. It's really peaceful and quiet down here. You can even walk along the banks. It reminds me a lot of the River Seine in Paris. Overall, there are over 500 cherry blossoms spread across the two sides of the park, across the river. Although I have to say that I think the other side is slightly more aesthetic than the Asakusa side. For lunch, we headed to the nearby cafe, Enjoy, which is completely vegetarian and makes all sorts of delicious dishes with seasonal fruits and vegetables. Just behind me is Hozumon Gate, and this signals the entranceway to Senshoji, which is the oldest temple here in Kyoto. Right next to the gate, you'll find this 5-story pagoda, and at 53 meters in height, it's one of the highest in Japan. It's roughly the same height as an 18-story building. The story goes that in 628, two brothers were fishing in the nearby Sumida River and fished out a statue of Kannon, the goddess of mercy. Now, although they returned the statue to the river, the statue kept coming back to them. And so it was decided that a temple should be constructed here, and that is what is now Sensoji. The temple was completed in 645 Common Era, making it the oldest temple here in Tokyo. The fact that you can see the Sky Tree so clearly from here in the temple's grounds just shows the juxtaposition of the old and new that Tokyo is so famous for. During cherry blossom season, this area can get very busy because of all of the beautiful blooms, so be sure to come here early in the morning if possible. It's around lunchtime on a Saturday, so it's very busy right now. The two main religions here in Japan are Buddhism and Shintoism. To be honest, most Japanese people practice both simultaneously, which is why you'll often find a temple and a shrine in close quarters with one another. So right now we're going to go to Asakusa Shrine, which is right next door to Sensoji Temple. During cherry blossom season, you'll often find that the areas surrounding temples and shrines are filled with street food vendors where you can get all kinds of snacks like mochi, fried chicken, and all kinds of other delicious things. We're now going to walk along Nakamize-dore, which is the main street which leads up to Sensoji. This area is so busy, so I don't think we'll be able to speak when we're actually along the street, but it's full of street snacks, vendors selling all kinds of souvenirs, and it's the main street that leads to Sensoji. Of course, when you're in Japan, you're never too far away from a vending machine, but the one thing I would say is that the recycling areas right next to the vending machines are only for the plastic bottles which you get from the vending machines. I just saw tourists put some trash in here, which is not allowed. We needed a bit of caffeine, so we headed to February Roastery, where you can get specialty coffees and snacks. Welcome to Ueno. We've just taken the subway here. It took about 15 minutes, and this is one of the best places to see sakura in all of Tokyo. There are over 1,000 cherry trees here, so let's go and check them out. As well as the classic street food on sale here, you can get a very specific souvenir, and that is a bonsai tree. Just behind is Hanazono Inari Shrine, and much like Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto, this shrine is dedicated to the rice god Inari. It's actually got a number of torii gates leading up to the shrine, and while it's no Mount Inari, it is certainly quite beautiful. This is Ueno Toshogu Shrine, and it's particularly famous for the gold facade of the shrine's entrance and also the many carvings in the garden. The Shinto shrine dates all the way back to the 17th century. We're just outside of the Shizo Bazu no Ike temple, which is a beautiful temple in the center of a lotus pond. Now, in the cherry blossom season, this area is really famous for its alley of cherry blossoms, which wends its way through the center of the pond. I actually recommend visiting this place both during the daytime and at night, because in the daytime you can enjoy the beautiful fluffy clouds, but at night it's illuminated during cherry blossom season, so you can walk under the LED illuminations lighting up the blossom. Another thing to do on the lake is to rent one of the little boats, and you can drive around a little swan. We're now going to Yoyogi Park, which is another great place to see cherry blossoms during the cherry blossom season. Welcome to Yoyogi Park, which is the other main spot in Tokyo to see the cherry blossoms. Now, the difference between here and Ueno is that you can actually have picnics under the cherry blossoms, whereas in Ueno they're kind of closed off and you can stick to the pathways only. I have to say it's a way more laid back, chill atmosphere here. There's a lot more people just hanging out, drinking with their friends than there is at Ueno. This is the entrance to Meiji Shingu. It's right next to Yoyogi Park and is a Shinto shrine nestled within 70 hectares of forest. People pray at this couple of camphor trees for either a happy marriage or to find someone to fall in love with. These are barrels of wine to be consecrated at Meiji Jingu and have been offered by wine houses in Burgundy. On the opposite side of the road, you'll find these sake barrels. During cherry blossom season, the sakura along the moat of the Imperial Palace is lit up by LED lights on a nightly basis, and this is a magical, if a little busy, experience that I definitely recommend checking out while in Tokyo. This is Shibuya Crossing, and it's also known as Shibuya Scramble because it's the busiest pedestrian crossing in the world. Let's go. And on the other side of the square, there's this really cool statue, which we'll go to now. Just behind me is a statue of the faithful dog Hachiko, who lived from 1923 to 1935. He was so loyal that even after his owner's death, Ueno, he continued to be loyal to him and came to the station each day to wait for him after he finished work for 9 years following Ueno's death. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!